Hello and welcome to this latest edition of our Flip Learning. We're now on the lesson on covalent bonding, which I think is lesson 4, and what we're going to be focusing on is how non-metals are able to bond with each other. Okay, anyway, I hope you enjoy it, and here are your objectives. Okay, so we're looking at covalent bonding today. So, by the end of this video, we hope that you will understand our objectives, which are how electrons are shared in a covalent bond, and how to calculate the formula by knowing the bonding that's occurring in the compounds or in the elements. Right, so what we're going to look at today is how we get the sharing of electrons. Now this occurs with non-metals. So if we take two non-metals, now I think what we'll do is we'll start with two chlorine atoms. So if we get the atoms up here, now we're going to put electrons in our shells here. So we've should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, let's just tidy these up a bit because these are a bit of a mess. Okay, so we've got 7 in there, and then we've got 7 in here. Okay, so we've got 7 electrons in each one. Now what we ideally want to have is the same as with the ionic bonding, is we want to be sharing or having a complete shell of electrons. So what actually happens is all of this one will move over to here so that we get a share of all of those electrons. So if we look, we've got 8 electrons in that shell and then 8 electrons in that shell, meaning that both outer shells are complete. Now because we've got a chlorine atom, we call this Cl2. Unfortunately I can't do the superscript or the subscript on this, so it's Cl2. Now we can also show the bond as a Cl with a Cl, and that just shows that this is a single covalent bond, which is represented by the 2 electrons that are being shared there. Now the next example we're going to look at is we're going to look at oxygen bonding with another oxygen atom. Now we'll get our atoms made up. Okay, so we've got our 2 oxygen atoms here. Now, with oxygen, there are 6 electrons in that outer shell. Okay, so we've got our 6 green electrons, and let's put in our 6 yellow electrons for here. Now, both atoms here have got 6, but they need an extra 2. Now, we get the 2 from the other oxygen. Okay, so what we have is we have something like this happening. Now, we've got here 8 electrons, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now again, the same as with the chlorine on the previous one, it is O2. Okay, and we can write this as O. Now because we've got the 4 electrons in here, which means we've got a share of 4 electrons, we call this a double bond. Now the last one we're going to look at is quite a complex one to do. So we're going to put in our central atom to start with. Okay. Now we're actually going to be looking at methane. Now with methane we have a carbon atom. Now carbon is in group 4, so it has 4 electrons in its outer shell. Okay. Now each one of these carbon atoms makes a bond with a hydrogen atom. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our hydrogen atoms in, and we can see them starting to take shape here. Okay, and within each one they share 2 electrons. Now we have to remember here that carbon is in group 4, sorry, so we have 4 green electrons, and they have a share of 8 electrons here. Now hydrogen is in group 1, so it has 1 electron, but because it's in the first period, it only needs 2 electrons to fill that outer shell. So the formula that we have for methane is CH4. Okay, and we can draw methane, and this is what you will have done in C1. We can draw H, C, H, 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 and we can see that these bonds come from here, from here, from here, and here. Okay, right then folks, that's the end of our lesson on covalent bonding, where we've looked at non-metals bonding with other non-metals. We've looked at chlorine making a single bond with another chlorine atom. We've looked at the bonding in oxygen, where we've made a double bond. And then we've looked at the slightly more difficult bonding in a methane molecule. And we've looked at how we get the sharing of electrons when we've got hydrogen and carbon. Anyway, that's all for today, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.